Alex. I'm a product researcher, dealer, distributor, and I advise practitioners, clinics, everyday people how to shop for the right brand with backed up research, information, efficacy. And if you have any questions, you can always email me anytime. That's in the description. It's free. I consult for free. But I basically have spent a long time, many years, researching many different modalities and product categories. And it is very confusing as a consumer to kind of figure out what's what. So in this video, we're going to continue to research and talk about saunas and infrared saunas specifically, portable infrared saunas. This brand, Ultralux Health. So the first thing you need to know is there are many companies just like Ultralux who essentially will import products unless they're like made in the USA. It's a USA company, but either way, they are distributors essentially is what it is, the contracts that they have. They buy a certain amount of units, get them shipped in, and sometimes they put their own label on it, okay, like as you can see here. But this factory who makes this portable infrared sauna makes it for several other brands as well, okay? So there's nothing special about this except for the label, right? And it could have been the name of any company that has. So this company is just a company that is a reseller of a variety of products that they're getting from a variety of companies or manufacturers, okay? Sometimes they put their own label on it and sometimes they don't, okay? Depending on what that agreement is with that company. So there's many companies that do this. And per product category, like the ones you see here, as you research and you look at brands in a specific product category, you'll find the exact same thing there too, right? You just be a company that imports, from a specific factory and has them put their label on it, okay? And that's it. And then they do marketing online and portray themselves to be like, some special company. I mean, in fact, they're just distributors and they just are reselling, okay? Sometimes that's not the case in the product category, right? Sometimes it's like a company that's really passionate about the specific modality and they work with the engineers and they develop like something really unique and they invest and you know what I mean? Like they're really like about developing hands-on a specific type of product or modality, okay? And then so in other words, you find those companies and then you just find like people that just get from factories making those types of things and slapping their label on it and being like, oh no, we're the experts now, And this is what confuses everybody. So let's talk about this. We're actually going to talk about two portable brands since this company's talking about two portable brands. They're comparing their Ultralux Foldaway sauna to Relax. Okay, as I already told you, there's nothing unique to this brand because they're just a reseller. Okay, so there's other ones that also have the same thing, nothing unique here at all. So when they talk about a lot of these features, again, they're not unique, okay? So, can this sauna fold up, for example, and be more easy to fold away than a Relax sauna or another portable sauna for that matter? Not really. I mean, a Relax sauna, which by the way is, I believe, maybe the best seller, maybe TheraSage is also up there, but between those two brands, they're like the biggest sellers of portable infrared saunas. This one you can also pack away. I'm just imagining myself packing both these away. Honestly, it's just about the same. It's, 2 minutes, all right, I don't know, maybe 3 minutes, but it's like, look, if you don't have 3 minutes, what do I got to say? It's a 3-minute job, okay? Let's just be real. So there's like, oh, but ours is like super lightning fast. Well, look, it's not 30 seconds, okay? You can't do this. You can't fold it away in 30 seconds. They're just about the same. They're very easy to put together, okay? And the other thing too is like most people when they set these types of things up, most people are not taking them down all the time. Why? Because it's just tedious. Why would you want to pack it up like every day? You know what I'm saying? So again, their little comparison here about how ours is more convenient and folding up, they're about the same and most people don't even do that anyways, okay? So let's talk about cost. Relax Sauna 2000. All right, well, technically, there's a $1,500 option and a $2,100 option, okay? $1,500 is the most popular. That is absolutely good enough. I'll put a link, by the way, to this company below in the description. They have a lot of good content and information on their website. They're also one of the few portables, there is another brand, but they are one of the few that have actually done some type of testing with people inside and looked for some health parameters, which is kind of cool. But anyways, 2 different ones. You only need that one, by the way, if you're going to be using this in a much cooler environment where the room's going to be a little bit more significantly cold, and this is a little bit thicker, performs a little bit better. Anyways, 1500 is the most popular one. So, you know, they chose the higher price point one just because it makes their price look that much better, okay? Yeah, it's $1,000. You know, they get it for $50 from their factory or whatever the heck it is, okay? So it's like, oh my God, what savings? This is amazing, $1,000. You know, but when we get into really how this is constructed, you know, at $1,500, the markup, this is a much better value when you see how much more labor is involved in a relaxed sauna versus these types of designs. That there's actually several factories that make these types of designs that are almost nearly identical to one another, and they're really much, much cheaper to produce. So yeah, let's call it 1,500 versus 1,000. Okay. Air quality. Relax Sauna does not include any specific air quality features. Blah, 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 blah. Additional measures, nothing for bacterial control, et cetera, et cetera. So one thing to note, if you produce enough infrared rays, okay, inside of a sauna, whether it's a wooden sauna or a portable, if you have enough good quality infrared rays, infrared does kill bacteria, okay? And it's a good idea to let your sauna run after you get out of it, which is exactly, by the way, how Relax Sauna advises people. There's like actually on the timer, there's like a little cool down sort of thing. So it automatically runs once you get out of it. And it actually has fans. Let's see if I can show a picture of it. There's actually fans. This is a unique feature no other sauna has. There's actually fans that are in the base where the infrared is coming out here. Okay, you put your feet on top of these, and the infrared rays shoot out from here, and they reflect on the silver fabric-lined interior all over your body, which, by the way, is why it's a little more expensive, silver-lined fabric. But basically, there's fans in here. So between the infrared rays bouncing around the silver, which is naturally antibacterial, and the amount of infrared, and the fact that there's fanning and it's drying any sweat, you're not really going to have to worry about the cleanliness of that air or the fabric itself. Now, is it still good to sterilize and clean the floor of that sauna where most of the sweat is going? Although, to be honest, actually a lot of sweat goes into maybe, say, the towel that you're using to sit on the chair, okay, which is a good idea. But yes, for any that falls to the floor, it doesn't quite fully dry up, even though a lot of it does as you run it once you get out of it. You should still wipe that down. Still wipe it down once a week, not a big deal, okay? Always a good thing to do, mainly just so the sauna over time won't smell, okay? Which is a common thing with just about any portable sauna, okay? Just a good thing to do, you know, don't like clean it like every few months, okay? Especially if it's more than you that are using it, more than just yourself, okay? But basically, air purification and bacteria, that's not really a concern at all. A built-in negative ion generator, ooh, well, guess what? There's actually several other portables that have the same cheapo thing in theirs. Now, there are little portable negative ion generators out there that put out a higher amount of ions, actually a specific type of ion, and give you the option of switching to ozone, a higher ozone ratio. Those types of portables that you can recharge, I would recommend to use in place of something like this. Okay? In other words, what they put in this sauna is kind of mediocre. There's something much better out there that's useful, by the way, to use in your car or your bathroom or a hotel room you're traveling to. I love having these couple little, you know, under, like, it's around like $140, $130, whatever it is, a little portable one that is much stronger than the one that they have in these saunas. Now, something like that, where it's much superior to this, that would actually do much more for what they're talking about here, air quality, neutralizing bacteria. But again, if you have enough infrared going in something like that, you generally don't have to worry about things like this, okay? What about pollutants in the air? Your lungs will move about 80% at least of the toxins out of your body. So inside of a home, there's many reasons why your home or apartment or whatever is the dirtiest place in the world from an air quality perspective, which leads us to probably talking about air purifiers, but you can always message me, because that is also a can of worms, that whole industry and product category. But that is a valid point. We are constantly off-gassing all kinds of crap into the air out of our lungs. So they're talking here about how important it is for air purification inside of the sauna. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, it's inside of your home. That's the problem. It's not like inside the sauna. Just think about it. How much time do you even spend in that sauna? How much time do you spend outside your sauna? Okay, exactly, right? So really, you really got to get control over the indoor air quality in your work environment or your home environment, okay? So talking about this little feature, it doesn't matter, all right? And even if you bought this sauna here, you should still wipe down the floors, okay? Just like I said you should do with the Relax Sauna, once a week or whatever, okay? I use, by the way, hypochlorous acid. I know it sounds super freaky. It's just actually something that happens when you split water, and you can get a compound out of water to react in a certain way. And it actually is super antibacterial, and it's super non-toxic. Anyways. Enhanced sauna experience. We've talked about how, let's see, hold on, scroll down here. Neck collar, grounding mat to balance the body's energy. Okay, so the grounding mat thing, yes. Some of these companies also talk about that. They're in a few of the portables. Generally, if you want to get the grounding is really good. We actually have a lot of great research on it. But if you really want to get those impressive health benefits, you have to go to like earthing.com or some of these other grounding mat companies. You have to ground your mattress. That's where you spend most of your time. And if you sit at your work desk a lot, you have to also ground yourself while you're seated there. If you do those two things, and you know for a fact you are actually properly grounded, you can reap some good health benefits. But it takes hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, okay, every day. To just ground yourself briefly for 20 minutes, 30 minutes or whatever in a sauna, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It's not gonna do much for you. Okay. It's like, oh, I exercised. You're like, oh, really? Yeah, I got like 5 minutes in this whole week. Okay. Well, you probably aren't gonna get a lot of exercise benefits 5 minutes this week. Same thing, right? Dosage matters. So when you ground yourself, dosage matters. Okay. So does that matter? No. They're just trying to sound unique. Like, oh, look, we got a grounding mat. Oh, it's so cool. Oh, we're so different from all these other portables. It's like, that doesn't even do anything. It doesn't matter if you're grounded for 20 minutes. All right, so now let's talk about what's inside here. So they talk about how they have a carbon emitter here, one in your back and one on the side. Nothing really special about that. Plenty of other brands that have that. What you don't get a lot of infrared exposure on your front body. Your biggest surface area on your body for getting infrared rays is what? Your back side and your front side, right? Of your whole torso, not your sides, okay? So yeah, she's gonna get in her back, that's good. Nothing in the front because you need the zipper, you need to be able to get out of this thing. Now with the Relax, they don't have any carbon emitters around you, okay? And then there is more electrosmog, by the way, if you have carbon emitters that are surrounding you, just FYI, okay? So there are no carbon emitters around you in the Relax Sauna. As I said, where are those emitters that I showed you before? Those little boxes. Those are at the bottom of the sauna. And so what's around you is just that silver fabric that's reflecting the rays of infrared. Okay, so you're getting infrared rays on every square inch of your body. That's what's happening when it reflects around the interior. So it's actually beaming from those very unique infrared emitters. Let's talk about those for a second. And by the way, there's plenty of information on this website about them, okay? To talk all about it. The patents are legit. You can look at them. It's a real thing. And no other company has ever figured out how to actually do the exact same thing for many reasons. It's actually fascinating. But there's ceramic chips that are in here, semiconductor, that controls the infrared wavelength precisely, okay? There are a couple other types of products out there that have a similar effect to that. But anyways, it controls the infrared wavelength. Now, they used a specific infrared wavelength that they find that is predominant in the womb of mothers when there's a baby in there, okay? And that's a longer conversation about wombs and the skin and the sun and infrared rays that your body produces all the time and so on and so forth. Anyway, so they got the idea that like, oh my God, you know, the infrared rays play a super important role in biological functions, and this is the predominant wavelength for babies developing. You know, what if we actually produce that same range for people? Would they also get more health benefits? Pretty cool, right? So that's how they went down this path. And I just might add, after seeing hundreds of people use this thing, you know, people really like it. I must say, people get very good results. It's very efficient, and people tend to prefer it over a lot of other infrared saunas, whether they're the wooden ones or other portable ones. It does feel different. Now, inside of these infrared emitters that you put your feet on top of here, the infrared rays that stream out of this, there's a fan in here as well that pumps the hot air. Okay, so infrared rays are bouncing around the sauna, and then it's also moving the hot air, which a lot of people like. That means it warms up this sauna faster than any other sauna literally on the market. I mean, literally within minutes, you can get in this thing, okay? Like in my infrared wooden sauna, I have to wait 45 minutes to 50 minutes. And in other sites, infrared saunas that are portable that I also sell, you usually have to wait 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And even as you get into those infrared saunas, they still feel cooler because the infrared rays, well, because it's not moving the warmed air, okay, because there's no fans. So some people like getting into something that's warmer. Normally you get into these other infrared portables and it really starts to feel warm once your body interacts with the infrared rays, if that makes sense, okay? So it'll always feel a little bit cooler when you're getting into other types of infrared portables versus a Relax. But legitimately, you can get in this thing like within 5 minutes. So if you're super impatient or you just want to turn it on and just hop in there real quick, and you know, on your tight schedule or whatever, this is definitely by far the most efficient that I've encountered. Laydowns are more therapeutic to the body than verticals, just so you know, for many reasons. You can always email me and chat with me about that. So I do always advocate for laydowns versus verticals, regardless of the brand, okay? I have, of course, done research on all the laydowns as well out there, and I have recommendations. So anything else to discuss here? The infrared rays on those carbon emitters, by the way, that are in here, that are pretty much almost the same things, same carbon emitters that are inside the wooden infrared saunas. That is it's a fairly fuller spectrum range. There's a little bit of near and near, good amount of mid, and a lot of far. So it's going into from shorter to longer infrared wavelength range. And that's referred to as the spectroscopy or wavelength distribution, which you can look at third-party reports from all these different factories. And they're almost identical across all the varying factories that make these carbon emitters. So most of them aren't really any more special than another until you get into wooden infrared saunas. And there are like a couple saunas that have patented a few things, and their efficiency is like a little bit higher and things like that. But anyways, they're almost about identical. So it's a little bit more of a longer range. In the Relax Sauna, it's actually more of a narrow range, as I talked about. They honed in on that like super unique biological infrared range, and some people really like that. So if you want to chat more about that, we can always do that. Anything else that I can say on here? Oh, the actual just construction quality. The fabric on this is really solid, really durable. You could almost say it would last for a lifetime. This is actually the best-selling infrared sauna for professional sports teams, by the way, variety of different industries, and they use the hell out of these things. They use them a lot, and they hold up actually extremely well, even in heavy commercial usage. Most other portables are definitely not suited for or built for commercial usage, but technically, if you are in that environment, by the way, this one right here, the black one, that's like 2100, that one is designed even just a little bit more durable for those heavy commercial usage situations. The chair inside, extremely durable. There's a lot of cheap chairs that these portables usually come with. There's silver-lined fabric. And then remember, I showed you those infrared emitters with the semiconductor chips and the ceramic and all that. You know, that device, you know, is much more expensive to produce. Okay, that type of emitter, it's significantly more expensive, upwards of 7 to 8 times more expensive to produce this. Even just like the wires to it. I mean, this is significantly more expensive than those carbon emitters. It might even be 10 times the cost. So between that and the silver-lined fabric and the durability, this price point, you know, it could be said that the cost to produce to the markup is probably the best value in the industry for a portable sauna. Certainly better than this style. These guys, they're like on average $50 for a factory to produce. So they're really cheap to manufacture. So pretty similar price point, you know what I'm saying, to that Ultralux, but this one is much more expensive. Could be 10 times the price possibly. So from that perspective, the markup is tremendous on this and some other similar white labeled brands. Okay. So if you have any questions about this type of brand or other brands that you've seen out there, and you want some guidance, you can always email me with like your specific health goals or conditions. And I'll kind of like give you some recommendations, brands, models to look at, kind of based around many factors: your budget, who's using it, again, your conditions, your goals overall. Because at this point, I know saunas and other modalities inside and out so well that usually I'll have like a good, better, best recommendations, like specifically for you, maybe versus somebody else. And so it can kind of differ. So you can always just email me or in the comments below, that's fine too, what you're seeking, and I'd be happy to give some advice. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more updates. And if you have any other video ideas, you're always welcome to leave those in the comments again and email me.